Hello, once again. This is a homily for the 31st Sunday of the year. Bear in mind that we only have a couple of weeks before the Feast of Christ the King, which is celebrating the return of Christ in judgment. And so, what the church is doing is teaching us various concepts that we need to be able to operate in this world in a faithful way. So today, the topic could be very simply set as providence, divine providence. So God has created us, God cares for us constantly, second by second, and God governs us. In other words, has given us all the guidelines and gives us all the necessary aids that we need to be able to reach our final supernatural goal. And this is even as if we are also achieving certain natural goals here in this world. But obviously, the supernatural goals take priority and precedence. So I may not look like I'm succeeding in this life, but I may in fact be working out my salvation very, very well here in this world. With that being said, we have the readings from the book of Wisdom, first of all. And basically, it tells us, first of all, that God is far beyond anything we can imagine. For the Lord, the whole universe is as a grain from a balance. And so he loves all things that are. This is where the caring for, and this is actual practical love. This is not just a kind of pious, cute way of saying that God cares, but in fact, this is love that actually works to bring about our best good. And yet, at the end, you rebuke offenders little by little, warn them and remind them of the sins they are committing, that they may abandon their wickedness and believe in you. So this is literally a time of being worked with. If you can imagine yourself as a diamond that has to be gradually chipped away and polished to become the best possible looking diamond that can ever be, that's the way that God is working. Now, in the psalm, we celebrate our response to this divine providence. I will praise your name forever, my King and my God. It repeats this thing about God being slow to anger and of great kindness. We heard that already in the book of Wisdom. The second reading is Paul's letter to the community in Thessalonica. Again, bear in mind, very small community in a hostile universe, and if we get the image of that hostile universe clear, this is without being panicky or apocalyptic or anything like that. But we do have to realize that the world is really not in our favor. Lots of things don't work the way that we think they should work. Yet we have to keep on plodding on. We always pray for you that our God may make you worthy of his calling, and here's the providential part, powerfully bring to fulfillment every good purpose and every effort of grace. There is the concept of God working with us second by second and on all levels, from material to spiritual. Yes, there's evil, and does God allow evil? Only in the sense that God allows creatures free will. What they do with that is not immediately going to be cancelled, hence the problem with the cancel culture, but it's not immediately going to be cancelled simply because it hurts us or affects us. And that's not that God is a sadist. God is even allowing that to happen, allowing in the sense of making space for it to happen. And there are a couple of thoughts about that. First of all, he's allowing that to happen so that even greater evils don't happen. On the other hand, out of these evils, good can be brought. So we have on those two arguments, if you like, the very calm, measured answer to the fact that yes, there is evil in the world. Um, he goes on then to talk about the coming of Christ, but I'm going to leave that out. Now, coming to the gospel, we have the well-known passage about the encounter between Zacchaeus, the tax collector, and Jesus. And the tax collector is uh, the chief tax collector in Jericho, and he's obviously a very wealthy man because he takes a percentage of what he collects, and obviously not a very popular man either. But anyhow, he was seeking to see who Jesus was. There's a positive, wow, can't even pronounce the syllables. There is a positive intentionality to our lives. We are looking for the good. And when he hears about Jesus, something in his heart tells him, this man is good. I've got to see this man. And so he goes through this whole thing about climbing a sycamore tree to see Jesus. Jesus looks up and says, come down quickly, Zacchaeus, for today I must stay at your house. And people grumble, he's gone to be in the house of a sinner. And, usual whining people. And Zacchaeus says, uh, behold, I give half my possessions to the poor. If I've extorted anything from anyone, I shall repay it 4 times over. And basically, Jesus says, salvation has come to this house. So, in fact, Jesus calling Zacchaeus is an act of the providence of God. He is reaching out specifically to this man. God is always the physician who cares for us, not in some vague general way. Charles Dickens has this frightening character of this woman in London who is doing charitable work for people in Africa, but ignores the health and well-being of her own children there in London. And that's where God will never go, because God doesn't just care in a general, vague way. He specifically works with this person to achieve the best for them if they will play ball. And so that, in a nutshell, is the church's teaching on divine providence. Thank you very much.